Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Proverbs, the 22nd chapter. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. So Solomon is saying here, right, it's better to have a good name, a good reputation, a good memorial than great riches, because a good name is lasting. But riches, like he even wrote in Ecclesiastes, that's vain. Eventually, all those riches you have passes on, and another person benefits off of it and gets it. But if you have a good name, that's going to last forever. It's immortal. And loving favor rather than silver and gold, because loving favor, you may not be the richest, but when you have that favor through love, it's more beneficial, right? It's peace. And in another proverb, he mentions that having a morsel to eat amongst those basically in quietness is better than I forgot how he worded it, but it's basically better than like a feasting or a banquet with contention. So not everything is money is not the solution to all things. Verse 2, the rich and poor meet together. The Lord is the maker of them all. It says here, the rich and the poor have this in common. The Lord made them both. So where they meet, even though they live on different paths, where they meet or converge is the fact that they are both creations of the Lord. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. So a prudent man, why? Through his prudence, he looks ahead. He examines, right? What are the possible outcomes? What can happen? And so he foresees the evil. He looks ahead and hideth himself. He prepares himself to avoid it. But the simple just continue on and are punished. By humility and the fear of the Lord are riches and honor in life. So when you have the fear of the Lord, which is wisdom, and you're humble, it'll bring forth riches, honor, and life. And the riches can also be likened onto the riches of the knowledge of the Lord. Romans 11:33 goes into that. Okay, and honor, which it tells you in the book of Wisdom of Solomon that wisdom bringeth men to honor. Right, she lifted up the heads of men and maketh them to sit among great men. And life, okay, which she is also likened unto a tree of life. Thorns and snares are in the way of the froward. He that doth keep his soul shall be far from them. All right, it says here, corrupt people walk a thorny, treacherous road. Whosoever values life will avoid it. And they might not even see it that way until they get pricked. Because they're doing this wickedness, not realizing they're walking in a corrupt and thorny and treacherous path until they actually get pricked, where their wickedness comes back on them. But he that keepeth his soul, right, one that is wise and will protect themselves, stays far away from it. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. So that's when your proper upbringing from a child. The way that you raise your child, it sticks with them. So that so train them up in the correct way, so that when they're old, those manners and the way you taught them as when they were younger, it will stick with them. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. Right, and that's a true statement, right? If you are borrowing from someone, you're at their mercy. you're a servant to them. He that soweth iniquity shall reap vanity, and the rod of his anger shall fail. It says those who plant injustice will harvest disaster, and the reign of terror, or their reign of terror, will come to an end. He that hath a bountiful eye shall be blessed, for he giveth of his bread to the poor. And that bountiful is like generous, to give, to be charitable. And the Lord will bless you in return. Why? Because he giveth his bread to the poor. So he's charitable, he shares. Cast out the scorner, and contention shall go out, because the scorner comes with contention. So if you cast them out of your presence, you're gonna get rid of contention along with it. You'd be surprised how peaceful life becomes after that. Yea, strife and reproaches shall cease. What this is to say is, scorners come with contention, strife, and reproach. He that loveth pureness of heart, for the grace of his lips, the king shall be his friend. See, he that loves pureness of heart. So one that loves pureness of heart is upright in heart. And for the grace of his lips, right, his gracious words, he will be able to even befriend the king. The eyes of the Lord Yahweh preserve knowledge, and he overthroweth the words of the transgressor. It says, the Lord preserves those with knowledge, but he ruins the plans of the treacherous, which are the transgressors. The slothful man saith, there is a lion without meaning outside. I shall be slain in the streets. That's their excuse. So the slothful man will come up with any excuse, even to say, oh, I can't do it. There's a lion out there. It's going to kill me if I go out to the street. So I gotta stay in here and, get some more sleep real quick just to gather my strength. Verse 14. The mouth of strange women is a deep pit, and a deep pit is a trap. He that is abhorred of the Lord shall fall therein. And what that means is you'll fall prey to a strange woman if you don't please the Lord. And you may think, well, how bad could that be? You see what it's like if you fall into the hands of a strange woman, because it says her heart is snares and bands. So she's going to trap you and give you hell. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. So when something is bound, it's like it's either trapped or locked in. So children have this like nature of folly in their mind. They're always trying to do something because they're still children. Their minds are still developing. So you as a parent, knowing that most often than not they're inclined to do something foolish, you gotta be ready, to discipline them, right? But the rod of correction shall drive it far from them. It'll fix it up quick. All that folly is going to disappear. You'll set the folly loose out of their mind when you discipline them through the rod of correction, right? The rod of correction is used to beat their ass, put it plainly. He that oppresseth the poor to increase his riches, and he that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want. When you come to want, it means that you're going to, come to a state of scarcity or poverty. A person who gets ahead by oppressing the poor or by showering gifts on the rich will end in poverty. Bow down thine ear and hear the words of the wise, and apply thine heart unto my knowledge. Salakia. Yes, these weak bodies, man. So it says here, bow down thine ear, right, and hear the words of the wise. So give heed to these wise words, and apply thine heart unto my knowledge. When you apply your heart to the knowledge, it means that you set your mind on it to take heed to it and to actually utilize the knowledge that is being given here. For it is a pleasant thing if thou wilt keep them within thee. They shall withal be fitted in thy lips. That is the knowledge. If you retain it in your mind, it's going to be fitted, all right, in your lips, meaning that it's gonna bring your words, right? You're gonna bring forth wisdom or knowledge from your mouth, right, through your words, if you keep it in your mind. It says here, that thy trust may be in the Lord. I have made known to thee this day, even to thee. Have not I written to thee excellent things and counsels and knowledge, that I might make thee know the certainty of the words of truth, that thou mightest answer the words of truth to them that send on to thee. So he's saying, I wrote these proverbs so that you can understand and know the words of truth, so that those that come unto you, you might be able to answer them in the words of truth. Rob not the poor because he is poor, neither oppress the afflicted in the gate. So don't take advantage of the poor just because you can, and don't oppress the one that is afflicted in the gate, right? The gate is like the openings of the gate where you would have, disputes being settled or assemblies. So judge righteously, for the Lord will plead their cause and spoil the soul of those that spoil them. See, so you think, oh, you're going to take advantage of them because what are they going to do about it? The Lord is going to fight for them, and he's going to bring judgment upon you for spoiling them. Make no friendship with an angry man, and with a furious man thou shalt not go, lest thou learn his ways and get a snare to thy soul. See, an angry man or furious man, their danger is in their anger, right? When they get angry, they don't think before they act. And if you become friends with them, you pick up on their bad tendencies, and that becomes a snare to you, and it can get you in a lot of trouble. Be not thou one of them that strike hands, or of them that are sureties for debts. That is to make agreements or become a surety for debt. So you are basically like in the stead. If somebody that you co-sign, basically, right? If somebody is in debt and they're not able to pay it, you'll pay it on their behalf. Don't put yourself in that situation. Solomon has mentioned this many times, throughout the Proverbs, because that's a very risky position to be in. You're putting yourself at their mercy. If thou hast nothing to pay, why should he take away thy bed from under thee? See, because that's what's going to happen. If you can't, if you are a surety for somebody and now you can't pay, now they're going to take away your stuff, your belongings. That should be whoever incurred the debt. That's their problem to deal with. Remove not the ancient landmark which thy fathers have set. Let's read that in the NLT. It says, don't cheat your neighbor by moving the ancient boundary markers set up by previous generations. Because then you're trying to, all right, reduce whatever it is that is properly theirs, being the land. Seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men. A mean man is like one of a low, low class, you could say, right, at the bottom. It says, do you see any true competent workers? They will serve kings rather than working for ordinary people, because they're going to eventually work their way up there through their diligence. And that brings us to the end of the book of Proverbs, the 22nd chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Bracha Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.